Are we live? It says I'm live. Oh, that's great. So, hello everyone. I just want to verify my voice there on YouTube. Is it properly audible? I'm not sure. Let me just refresh the YouTube page just to verify if I'm properly audible there. And oh, it still says I'm not live. What's wrong? Oh, we are live. We are live. Great. And what about the voice quality? Is it good? Okay, the voice is also good. Great. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the next Tech Expert Thoughts. And this time we have Vijay with us. I'm very excited for the second session where, so from the first experience now we are into second session and hoping for the good session. So let's hear it from Vijay here. Hello, Vijay.
Hi, Naveen. First of all, thanks for giving me this opportunity to talk to you, talk over here. Let me just introduce myself. I work as a software dev engineer for one of the big players in the travel domain. I started working with object-oriented technologies around 4 years ago, initially as a test engineer, and then now I work as a dev engineer. Prior to being like an object-oriented technologies developer, I was a database developer for like 5 to 6 years. On a daily basis, I get to work with the following technologies. On the back end, I work with Java and Spring. I also get to work with big data technologies like Spark and Hadoop, and I also get to do some unit testing using some unit testing frameworks like TestNG, JUnit, Mockito, etc. I am not an expert on the front-end technologies, but I get to dabble a little bit with JavaScript, and I use Jenkins for CI/CD pipeline. So those are the technologies that I get to use on a daily basis.
You know, Vijay, that's what you do when you have so many things to say. You just have to verify your own profile. So when you know multiple things, this you don't remember what are things you know you know by. So
exactly.
that's a huge number of experience you have. Great.
So I can talk a little bit about the buzzwords that I have been hearing since I started working with object-oriented technologies in a big company that might help whoever is trying to break into the industry, like just give them an idea of what things they should know. So this is like around 4 or 5 years ago. We started hearing all about cloud computing and AWS and stuff. So as a test engineer at that time in a services team, I had to know how to push the server-side code to a EC2 instance in AWS, and how to use Chef to do configuration management and that kind of stuff. If I come forward to today, I have to know the different AWS offerings as a dev engineer to have a meaningful conversation with your manager or your architect. You need to know what the different AWS offerings are, what the different databases that are available in AWS, what is a cache available in AWS, what is a security authentication framework that is available in AWS. If you know all that, you can have a very meaningful conversation. You can choose your technologies properly. That's where we are with cloud computing these days. And I guess also a buzzword that is thrown around a lot is microservices. People talk a lot about moving monolithic big services into microservices, just because we are all working in an agile environment. So that means we want to make changes to our services, debug our code quickly, and get it to production as soon as possible. And breaking down big monolithic services into smaller microservices helps the team achieve that goal. And another buzzword that is thrown around a lot these days is machine learning and artificial intelligence. From my industry itself, one of the use cases that I can mention is, so if you talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence, and if you have a conversation with yourself, if you see why is it important these days. So everybody has services, but the point is they're trying to make their services smarter. They're trying to make their services cater to the audience. Like for say, if somebody is searching for a flight, and they have a child, like an infant with them, they're going to travel with an infant. You want your application to return only those results which are relevant to that particular customer. You don't want, so it's all about being relevant to your customer, giving what your customer wants, and that way, and that is how all these machine learning algorithms, which are continuously learning from the data that now your big data technologies are providing. So that is the significance of machine learning and artificial intelligence these days. So that is some of the buzzwords that I wanted to cover, and I wanted anybody who's trying to break into the industry to know these terms. So otherwise, if you all have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Okay, that's great, Vijay. In fact, before anyone asks a question, I have a question from my side. In fact, I had this question a lot from different people. One of my passion is to learn new things. In fact, whenever I get some time, I always try to learn new things. Currently, I'm learning some technology, and then maybe after 1 month, if I get something new, I will start learning that. It doesn't matter if it will be helpful for me or not. But let's say if you're working as a full-time, and then once you get a new project, and of course, in a company, you will not get a chance to work on the technology which you love. You have to work on those things which a company offers. In fact, we have also discussed about this thing, right?
Yes.
So how do you cope up with all those things? Let's say if your manager says, or if your company says, hey, Vijay, tomorrow, next week, we are going for a new project where you may have to work on a new technology. So what will be your approach at that point?
Naveen, that's a great question, and it's very relevant to what is happening in the industry today. Just because I know this, because I'm going through this. What I feel is right now we are in a era, we are in a scenario where it is about continuous learning. You can never say I'm done with college, that's it, I'm not going to learn anything right now. That is not how it works. You have to continuously update yourself with technologies on your own time. That is the only way you can stay relevant. And the good thing about this is, in the market right now, you have so many offerings. You have so many online tools. You have so many sites where you can go and you can choose the technology that is more relevant to your career and pick up and learn it. Just to name a few, I don't know if it's okay to name a few sites where you can go and learn. There is Udemy, there is Udacity, there is Team Treehouse, there is lynda.com. There is all these sites where you can just create an account for yourself. Obviously, you'll be paying something on a per month basis or a yearly basis, and you can choose the technology that you want to learn and go ahead with it. And one of the drawbacks, though, with those sites is that it won't be interactive. If you want an interactive learning experience, then you have to choose for somebody like Naveen.
Well, thanks for the promotion. Okay, yeah. So yeah, if you want to make it more interactive, you can attend some live sessions or maybe some classroom training.
Correct.
Great. So yeah, that was my question, and great answer. There are multiple platforms available, right? The way you have mentioned, you have Udemy, you have Udacity. So it doesn't matter. Nowadays it's not about college course. It's not about what others say you have to learn. It's about if you want to learn something, resources are available. It's just that how you want to learn.
Exactly.
First of all, take out time.
Yeah. It's all about your hunger. It's all about your your desire to do it. That is the only limiting factor these days.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that answer. That was my question. Okay. And now we have so many questions here in the chat window. Before that, I can see we have 127 people watching this and 35 likes. That's great. So everyone, if you're enjoying this type of sessions, do click the like button, because that's what motivates me, and that's what will motivate our experts here to join in future as well. So if you're liking this type of sessions, do click the like button there. That like is very important. And let's get started with the questions of participants here. And the first question, Vijay, I've shared you with the questions there on the chat window on Hangout.
Oh, at what experience you moved from QA engineer to dev engineer, and what process you have followed? Uh, I was a test engineer for like a couple of years, and when I was a test engineer, I kept contributing to the dev team, and that is the process that I followed to become a dev engineer. I always knew I wanted to be a dev engineer because prior to being a test engineer with object-oriented technologies, I was a dev engineer, database developer. So I knew I enjoyed being a developer. So uh, I always knew I wanted to be a developer. And the process that I followed was do my test work and then also help the dev team, with the dev work. And that way I got recognized that I could do the dev work, and I, got the dev designation. It's all about making your team win. So that's the way to go.
Oh, great. In fact, this question was from Samrat. And just to repeat the question, if people don't know the question, it is, at what experience you moved from QA engineer to dev engineer? And what process you have followed? Can you elaborate more? So that was the answer given by Vijay. Now, Vijay, the next question for you is from Ganesh. And the question is, which is better framework, Spring or Hibernate to learn?
I think I mean, you have to learn them in tandem. It's not like you can just know Spring and you're good, or you'll just know Hibernate. They serve two different purposes, but they work together in general. So you have Hibernate is used, so it's an ORM tool. So you have to know Hibernate, so you can connect to a database and do some transactions. And Spring is, it does a lot of things, makes a lot of things easier for you as a web developer. You have to know dependency injection, and so it's not like, should I learn Spring or should I learn Hibernate? You should learn both. And I would say you could learn Hibernate before you actually start learning Spring. But in the end, they will work in tandem. Like any company these days, they'll use Spring and Hibernate together.
And just to add to that, we have we also have Spring ORM. That's Spring module. So let's say if you want to work with database, you have two choices. Either you can use Spring JDBC or you can use Spring ORM. And then if you're using ORM, then you don't have a choice. You have to learn Hibernate. So that's why Vijay. So we can use that in combination. In fact, that's what I think that's what you are using in your company, right? Both things together.
We use Spring Data JPA, Spring Boot, and Spring Data JPA. So.
Oh, great. And in that case, Hibernate.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the next question from Narayana, and the question is, I don't know about the how do you pronounce that name? It's Q or Tabular BI tools. Please give a short note. So any points on that? I'm not sure about those tools.
So where I work at, we don't use, we try not to use, at least in my team, we try not to use BI tools because if I have to use Tableau, if a company has to use Tableau or ClickView, we have to pay for the licensing cost for it. So we try to build our own dashboards on top of the data, and we do that using, we have done that in the past using Node.js and JavaScript frameworks. So I have not directly used ClickView, and the reason for that being to use some BI tools like ClickView and Tableau, you have to pay for licensing costs, and that can get pretty costly.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. And okay, we have one more question, which is from Raj. So currently, what company are using Java, and freshers in Java should know to work in company? Yeah. So the question is basically what type of companies are using Java, and if you're a fresher, what are technologies you should know to get into as to be a Java developer?
Big enterprise uses Java. Like Java is all over the place, and even if you want to, like, I think the next big thing would be like, I think Java is here to stay. It's going to be relevant at least for the next 10 years, I guess. And something which is a similar based on JVM technology is Scala. I know my company is trying to adopt Scala more and more these days. So even, and it is supposed to be a functional and object-oriented, programming language. Java is trying to move in that direction, but Scala is there. I mean, Scala is a functional and object-oriented technology. But I would say for anybody who's trying to break into the industry, it's good to learn Java first, be an expert in one programming language like Java, and then try to branch off to other languages rather than trying to be a master of multiple languages right away.
Oh, that's great. So, and that's why in industry it's not Java which is famous; it's JVM which is famous. So everyone loves Java because it is JVM, right? As pointed by Vijay. Everyone loves JVM, and we love Java because Java runs on JVM. And now we have Scala, we have Kotlin, which also works on JVM. So they will try to take over some part of the. And then yes, the first thing you should learn is Java, but because if you know Java, jumping to Scala and Kotlin is not damn easy, but then you can go ahead with that.
You can do that, yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah.
Great. Okay, we got next question from Parvez.
Hi, Parvez, I think your question is about should I use MySQL or
You,
Postgre?
Vijay.
Yeah, can you hear me, Naveen? Yeah.
Yes, I guess I lost you for time, man. Is it?
Yeah, for a second I lost you there. Yeah, I
Okay,
think
so yeah.
Parvez wants to ask if it is MySQL or Postgre for job for. I think he's trying to build a site and he wants to know what kind of database he should use, I guess.
Yeah.
Parvez, it totally depends on the size of your website. I mean, MySQL can run on your machine. MySQL can run in a clustered environment in a multiple machines and your application to write to it. Um, uh, so it's not like should I choose MySQL or should I choose Postgre. It's about what you're trying to accomplish. What is the load? What is the load on the site that you foresee? Uh, I assume if you're just writing a small job portal site or something for your own, to learn purposes, then MySQL should be good enough. And you can make it run on your own machine and you can connect to it from whatever web application that you're writing.
Okay. Great. You can hear me, right, Vijay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So there was some disconnectivity with my Wi-Fi, so I just switched back to my original Wi-Fi.
And another point,
As always.
and another point on that question was you might also want to explore AWS offerings for database. I mean, AWS has something called Aurora DB, which is their RDS in the cloud. Like nowadays, everybody writes applications and deploys their applications to the cloud. So you might want to, check Aurora DB as well.
Yeah. In fact, a good point, Vijay. So when you learn something new, not just learning it, it's also implementation.
Yeah.
And if you can try different things, if you're really not sure about MySQL, Postgres, just try it out. I mean, whatever suits for you, you can go for that. I guess there's no specific rule that you should always use MySQL or Postgres. I guess sometimes it's also about personal choice. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So try it out, and then you can go with that. Okay. Nice. Now we got one more question here, which is okay. I guess I've missed one question on the top. So what can be the trending technology in the next 5 to 10 years? Okay, that's a very weird question. Predicting the future. Yes, Vijay, what's your thoughts?
It depends on in what area, because technology right now is a very general term. It could be in, like, if we just take our own industry, right? If you are working in the front end, say, there are so many frameworks, JavaScript frameworks that have come up in the last couple of years. If you know about, you might have heard about Angular, you might have heard about React, you might have Backbone. All these new JavaScript frameworks are just popping up every couple of months. You hear about a new framework, and that is what is being adopted. So I think JavaScript is a good language to learn right now because it can be used as a full stack language. And in the backend, there are so many systems that have been written in Java and that will be maintained in Java and that will be enhanced in Java. So Java is is there to be relevant at least for the next 4 or 5 years. And they're doing a great job of releasing new features. So I think Java is going to stay relevant. So on the back end, I would say Java and JVM based technologies. On the front end, JavaScript. And JavaScript no longer is just relevant to front end. Right now, they're making it a full stack language. So it's a good time to, if you don't know JavaScript, it's a good time to invest your time in JavaScript.
Okay, great. In fact, just to add on that Java point, now recently Oracle announced that they will give updates, Java updates in every 6 months, thanks to modular JDK now. So they can update JDK, and hopefully Java will be back with multiple features. Great. And what about and also about JavaScript? I was thinking about learning JavaScript from a long time. Yeah, it's a worth an investment, but I'm looking for time to learn JavaScript properly. So good point there. Yeah, we got one more question, which is from Nikhil, and the question is how to be expert in Java as a Java programmer in Java SE and Java EE.
Sure. I guess nobody starts out as an expert. So it's all with you have to be comfortable with the language, and once you start working with that language on a daily basis, you automatically organically become an expert, or so-called expert in that language.
Yeah.
So I believe that is the way to go.
Oh, great. Okay, next question. Just to make it fast, we have so many questions popping up, and the moment you answer one question, we get next 10 questions on the chat. So okay, so next question is: should I learn for backend Java or PHP? What is your suggestions?
I would say Java, because any company which has a decent amount of visitors, they are going to be using J2E. So I would say invest your time in learning J2E rather than PHP. That's my opinion.
Yeah, in fact, it's very important to put that at the end. It's my opinion. Once I made a video about it, that I prefer Java over PHP, and then the entire chat box or the entire comment section filled with hate, hate towards. So there are lots of fans of PHP. So nothing bad about PHP. PHP is a good language, but
Yeah,
then the enterprise market is all captured by Java.
exactly. So if you want to, be in the market, then why learn something which is
Yeah,
not widely adopted in the market?
yeah, you have to be very diplomatic with these answers. Okay. The next question is from Irfan. It's any opening in your company, Vijay?
There are always lots of openings in my company.
Okay. First of all, you need a US visa, right?
That's true.
Okay. Great. With that, we have a next question, which is from Nikhil. And the question is, will there be more Java, job opportunities for Scala developers?
I don't know about the scene in India. I don't know how much Scala is being adopted in India, but I think big product companies will start moving towards Scala. The only thing that I see is like whatever you can accomplish with like 10 lines of code in Java, you can accomplish the same thing with 3 or 4 lines of code in Scala. Is it worth it? I mean, is it? But I see, or maybe just it might be my experience because I'm used to Java. I feel like Java is more clear, more more intuitive. Whereas in Scala, you just because you're converting 3 or 4 lines of code into 1 line of code, that intuitiveness, that clarity is kind of lost. But then again, it depends on what kind of technology or what kind of team that you're working in, or what is your main job role. If you see, if you're going to be working in a big data technologies, and if you're going to be working with Spark, it's good to know Scala because it makes it easy to write big data jobs in Scala. I've done so myself, so I'm saying this out of experience that yes, if you're going to be working with big data technologies, learn Scala. If you're primarily going to be working with web applications, learn Java. But for any fresher, I would say learn Java first and then try to learn Scala rather than the other way around.
Oh, great. In fact, oh, I can hear my own voice, no, voice there. Vijay?
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, I can hear my own voice from your side. Is it some issue? Maybe some delay in the. Okay, so next question is from Madhuri. From where should I start to become a data scientist?
Oh, um, I am not a data scientist, or I do.
Maybe
So
wrong person.
I guess that, yeah, I don't think I can answer that question well. But I think the strong points of a data scientist would be mathematics and applied statistics, because they would know all about those algorithms. There are so many algorithms that data scientists apply to, separate the noise from the usual, from the actual useful data. So if that is something that you enjoy doing, then yeah, that is your cup of tea.
Okay, great. And in fact, now the next question is very a bit controversial. It's from Umesh, and the question is: I want to put two years of experience on his resume. Which tools are mandatory? I mean, it's like faking your, and he's doing that on YouTube. Umesh, if you're interviewing, see. So
I
you
would suggest not to, I mean, you can say that you are comfortable with these technologies rather than, faking with, if you are actually comfortable with them. Because anybody who knows about those technologies can easily find out if you actually know them or if you've just added them on your resume. So, if you want to keep your job after getting your job, then you should not fake it on your resume, but actually know those technologies. And if you want to, get a job as a Java developer, obviously you need to know from servlets and JSPs, you need to know about Spring and Hibernate and all that jazz. So.
Okay, great. Just to update you, Vijay, we also have Kamil online watching this session.
Oh, cool. Hi, Kamil.
Okay. Yeah. So next question for you, Vijay. Okay. I hope you're not tired of answering all these questions.
No, I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is from Rashid. A question is benefits of getting Oracle certified Java programmer certificate.
Rashid, so it depends on where at what point you are in your career. I think certification is important if you are a fresher. It gives you credibility. It gives credibility to your resume. So people know that you have a minimum, at least you know this much. So that kind of credibility it gives to your resume. But after like 4 or 5 years or 3 or 4 years of working in a technology, then going and getting certified in that technology itself is not that relevant or useful, unless of course you're going to try and switch tracks, like I tried to do from a database developer to a Java developer. At that point I did go and get certified in Java. So like I said, it gives you credibility, but it totally depends on where you are in your career.
Okay, great. We'll take three to four more questions, and then that should be good because we are answering a lot of questions, and it's been a long time. We all I mean more than almost half an hour now. So let's take 3 to 4 more questions, and then we can wind up. So next question for you is about money from someone, and the question is, okay, this is from Shubham. How much I can earn after learning Android development as a fresher in the company, and how to apply?
It depends
It's
on
all about money at the end.
yeah, it depends on which company. It depends on where, because any and it all depends on that. I mean, there are so many variables, but I would suggest, I know this would be a very idealistic thing to say, but don't focus on the money right now. If you're a fresher, focus on what you like doing, do that, and then if you're really good at it, money will come to you. So that is how I think about it.
Just to add that, we have a very famous quote, which is, initially you should work to learn, and later remove that L, which is to earn. Just,
Great one.
just
Great
to
one.
quote your point. Okay, great. Next question is from someone, and the question is, are PHP and Node.js going to stop Java when it comes to web development?
No, Java won't stop because there are so many. First of all, JavaScript and PHP won't scale. You know, scaling is the issue. It won't scale to the same scale as what Java does today. So they're not going to replace Java or applications that are written in J2E. What else were they asking?
About Node.js.
Node.js, yes. I mean, you know, at least in where I work, a lot of SPAs is what they call it, single page applications. They are written in Node.js. Not the whole enterprise, you know, websites. They are not written in Node.js. So
Okay, great. And this is very common question. People want to know about, because everyone talks about Node.js nowadays. Why to learn different languages if you want to implement something? Learn JavaScript and then using mean stack or using the reactive JS nowadays, you can do everything. But then okay, so there's a lot of different views on it.
right.
Great. Okay, so we'll take last two questions, and the question here is, tell me about something about Hadoop and big data and scope. I mean, the scope of Hadoop and big data in future.
So everybody right now they want to make their services smart. They want everybody right now. Everybody has services, but they want analytics on those services, and big data and all those frameworks like Spark and EMR. As a developer, you will work with those frameworks. You know, they give you data so you can make smart decisions. And why do we have them now and not before? Because you know, big data can give you, like, it's not like data that can be saved in a relational DB. It's a huge amount of data, which if you intend to save, you'll probably save to a data warehouse or something like that. And the crunching of those numbers is possible right now because of these really fast frameworks like Spark. They're in-memory frameworks, so there is big market for it. Uh, but I think you should be really good. To work with big data, you should be really good with one of those JVM languages or Python. Python is also a language that uh, people adopt for big data technologies, and you know, that's the way to go.
Yeah. In fact, if you look at my chat window on YouTube now, lots of questions are based on future. What is the future of PHP? What's the future of .NET? What's the future of big data? So they're all imagining you're a Baba now, Vijay. Okay. So again, the question with that was, what are your thoughts on .NET?
Guys, I have not worked on the .NET market much, so I cannot comment on .NET. Um, at least like 10 years ago or five, I would say 6 7 years ago, uh, .NET was a big rage, but right now still Java is a big player in the market. The trend that I see in at least in the US is like mid-sized companies, they have applications which are written in .NET, but financial companies and big companies, they still have J2EE. So
Okay. Great. And one last question, Vijay.
sure.
Your thoughts on blockchain?
Oh, I have not used blockchain. I have to learn blockchain. That is something that I have to invest my time on.
Yeah. So it is on your to-do list. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And there's some questions which I want to answer in a quick way, and those questions are, why to learn. Okay. What was the question? Uh, I lost the question of what? Okay. Question. Where's the questions? The questions was something, why to learn servlet, JSP, Sturge to Spring, and Hibernate. It's because in the industry now, I mean, if you want to make an application, Spring is the go-to framework. And if you want to work with database, then we either use Spring JPA or Spring JDBC. If you're using Spring JPA, then you should know Hibernate. So it's all prerequisites to learn Spring and to work on Spring JPA. Hibernate is a prerequisite. Sturge 2 is a new thing in the industry now. Old projects which are based on Sturge 2, or people who love Sturge, they will make Spring and Sturge together. But then there's no need to learn Sturge now. It's not that trendy. But yes, if your job asks you to learn Sturge, then you don't have a choice. But then Spring and Hibernate it's something you have to learn, and to understand Spring in a better way. Like if you want to implement Spring MVC, then you need to have a knowledge of Servlet and JSP. That's why learning all those things are important. Okay, that's one question. And okay, so from Umesh, I'm expert in Spring and Hibernate and web services. Can I put 2 to 3 years experience? I believe you should never put fake experience. Never, never do that. It's not good for you. It's not good for the employer. It's just that initially, I think you should apply as a fresher, and that's fine. The only thing will be happening is you will get less payment. But if you know all these technologies, there's a good chance that you will get good appraisal. Just implement everything in your job. Let your company know that you're doing a good job. Yeah? It's not just about how much you know; it's about how much you show. Let them know about your work, and then for sure you will get a good appraisal in future. But don't cheat. Yeah, so that's all the questions, and thank you so much for answering all the questions, Vijay. You're very sporty for answering all the questions here and being honest with the technologies. So a great session with you. I hope you enjoyed these top sessions.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to
But
talk.
we will not leave you like that. You just have to. So any thoughts for the newcomers in the industry or people who have just joined the company? Any motivational thoughts or any suggestions yourself?
Persist. I mean, it's not easy. So persistence pays. So keep trying, and things will happen for you. Um, that is my biggest suggestion to anybody who's trying to, break into the industry. And and it's also important to work smart and not just work hard. So try to look for experts you can learn from, and so that will actually shorten the time that it takes to learn a technology, rather than trying to do everything by yourself. So those are my 2 suggestions.
Okay. Great, Vijay. Thank you for the answers and thank you for being with us here on Telusko Learning. And I hope you will be coming back for the next thoughts, or I mean tech expert thoughts.
Sure, I'll be happy.
Provided you get some time out of your busy schedule,
Sure,
as you always say. Yeah. So thank you so much, Vijay. And let us know your thoughts about this session, everyone, in the chat window or in the comment section later. And Vijay would be waiting for your comments, right, in the chat window.
Sure.
How helpful it was.
Yeah, I hope people got something out of it. I hope they stay with their goals, and they achieve whatever they want to achieve. All the best.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Vijay.
Yeah. Thank you, Naveen.
Yeah. So everyone signing off from the live chat. We'll do that. Well, we'll do a live session next week. With a new expert, someone else. Maybe Vijay will repeat if he gets some time out of schedules. And so that's it. Stopping the broadcasting, everyone. Bye bye.